Alright, so I'm doing a challenge trying to platinum every single game inside of the Ubisoft Plus game catalog on PlayStation. And if I can't do it before we hit 690,000 subscribers on YouTube, then I have to tattoo the platinum logo somewhere on my body. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Alright, so today I chose to platinum Far Cry 5, which is undoubtedly the best-selling and best Far Cry game in general. And if you disagree, you're just wrong. Anyways, Far Cry 5 has a grand total of 51 trophies, including the platinum. And it is also one of the easiest and most enjoyable platinum trophies I've ever gotten in my entire life. Stage 1 of the platinum trophy is to, as usual, just beat the main story without having to worry about any missable trophies on the way. So the game first opens up with a created characters scene, and I honest to God thought it was just a loading screen, so I sat there for a few minutes or two waiting for something to happen. Yeah, we are off to a great start. Anyways, it really begins with a good old classic cutscene giving us some plot into what this game is all about. Basically, Far Cry 5 surrounds Joseph Seed, who is a cult leader working out of the Montana countryside. This might be the only cool thing to ever happen in Montana if we are being honest, so I can't even hate on the guy. Religions are great for the economy. And apparently Ubisoft also loves giving me gifts because these damn things were on my screen the entire intro of the game. But anyways, Joseph Seed has basically taken over Montana with his cult, and it's like kind of a big deal. They even gave him a statue. Our good old President Joseph Kids Biden doesn't even have a statue. Now that's crazy. You play as Rookie, who is named that because he is a rookie and this is your first job in the police force. So you squad up with the local sheriff, a federal agent, and a woman to ease the gay allegations. We made it into the church where Joseph was giving a sermon or something. I'm not sure why he has his shirt off, but I guess it frees the soul, who knows. Long story short, he has obviously done criminal things like starting a cult, for example, so we had a warrant for his arrest and took him back to our helicopter, which seconds later would get taken down out of the sky from you don't want to know, it's disgusting. Once we were crash landed though, pretty much nobody died, which is kind of surprising. Maybe the Lord truly is with us after all.
That's what I'm saying.
In fact, I think Joseph was chatting him up on the radio before leaving me and the federal agent to burn in the chopper. This next part of the game has a classic Far Cry staple where you run through the forest away from people. Remind you of any other good Far Cry games? I'm talking about Far Cry 3 if you couldn't guess, you idiot. We also did do some stealth, and yeah, stealth isn't my expertise, but I did meet up with the Fed again, and then we really put a stand up against these shirtless hillbillies. Eventually, I ended up riding in a car with the federal agent away from everything, and we got chased again. But it all got put to an end when the car blew up over the side of a bridge, and I became drowned. Somehow, some way though, a man saved me, and he looks kind of scary. I think I want to go back into the water now. A few minutes later, we did end up waking back into life and seeing the savior of our life. Turns out it was just some nutjob survivalist who lives on an island. Only in Montana, I swear to God. But this man is also the overseer or narrator for like all of our main story missions and stuff. Basically, he is the radio guy telling us to go places, so that's cool. In this entire first story section, all consisted on his island, retaking it over and turning back on all of his radio towers so he can get signal again. But after I did all of those mini intro tutorial missions, my final exam was to climb a tall ass tower and flip on the signal he needed. Once I did, the guy also unlocked the map for me, which is a giant help. And he also explained that there is 4 territories in the game: Jacob, John, Faith, and then Joseph's, who is the final boss, so his territory is only accessible once you complete the other ones. And I got a trophy after all of that because we have officially graduated the Far Cry 5 intro. Holy sh**. The next objective is to reach Fall's End, which is the first main establishment inside of John's settlement or area. On the way there, since it is pretty deep inside of the territory, I did end up stopping for lots of little side quests here and there, which were all fun, and did contribute to us gaining control over John's. This also gave me some supplies and money I hadn't yet had, so I quickly upgraded my bow with everything I could because this bow is one of my favorite things to use in the game, and that was also a trophy. So I can't wait to now miss every shot with my maxed out bow and arrow. I love capitalism. A bit later, I ended up capturing an enemy outpost, and after it turned into a citizen's outpost again, I got a side quest there which had me redo their entire farm's irrigation system. This is why they say I'm a man of all trades, but once I did that quest, it also ended up being my 3rd side quest finished, and I got another trophy. The story then led me to some guy's airfield that was completely under attack from the enemy, so I of course had to clear them all out with my god tier aim and combat intelligence. I then chatted up this guy who represents exactly what I imagine Montana men probably look like, and he gave me the next main story mission, which was to steal this bomber plane so he can get his family out of Dodge. Stealing the plane wasn't that bad, by the way, and I managed to get it very fast. I then also had to take it on some little course to make sure it was still functional. I even had to blow up some totally not innocent people. But it did give me a trophy, so who cares what they did or did not do. Nick is that hillbilly's name, by the way, and back at home, he had an intense chat with his lesbian wife. Not sure if they wanted to do this alone or not, but I just stood there and watched it all. My favorite. Anyways, after their chat, I got another trophy for doing those missions. Later on, I had a main story quest which made me plant some bombs and then defend them from loads of incoming attackers. I'm not gonna lie, I did die, but like only a few times, so it's okay. And after I finally survived the assault and the mines blew up, I gained enough control to have 1/3 of John's territory recaptured. Now, of course, this isn't good, so he sent a capture party after me. This is basically the game's way of saying you're about to get captured and there's nothing you can do about it. How wonderful. Basically though, I woke up inside of John's bunker all tied up with the lady from the game's intro, and he pranced around threatening us with torture essentially. I got out of course because I have plot armor, but even though I really rallied up his workforce, John still had the upper hand and took the girl away from us through the window as we watched. He also released chemicals into this place, which was neat, and I got a trophy also from all of that nonsense. And that's basically a sum of what this game's story flow is like. You get X amount of main story missions in each territory that give XP towards this little progress bar, and you also need to do side quests to bump it up all the way. And when you reach those little landmarks, usually something cool happens, like getting drugged. What a game, I must say. But the next trophy I got was from liberating 5 outposts total, which are the main side quest that helps you progress the story without playing the story. It makes sense, okay? It does. About 2 hours later, I was then left tickling the 100% takeover of John's land, and I tipped over the edge by doing some random ass side quest that once completing gave me a trophy for reaching that full takeover I was talking about. So now John wants to meet us, and by that he means he has all of our friends hostage and is basically making it so we have to confront his white ass. Instantly, I got dropped. Not a surprise. So we ended up in yet again another church with John, Nick, and this woman. Also a shirtless pastor. God, I love this game. Oh my god! John's job, by the way, is to just get people to join the cult, so he pretty much tried to make us join. Nick got peer pressured, which was sad to see. However, I am not such a weak man as he is, and I refused not once, but like 6 times until a gun fell out of some guy's hand, and then hell got let loose into the room and surrounding block. We then had to chase John back to another church, only to see him get in a plane and fly away. So I of course had to get in my own plane and go after him. There was then a very epic fight in the air, which was low-key sick, I can't lie. I ended up blowing his plane like a sinful college girl, and he was just falling slowly out of the sky. So I of course flew down with him, but I also shot him mid-air. Not sure if that's bad fight etiquette, but I don't really care. And that was the end of John as we watched him die on the ground. But that actually wasn't it for John's storyline, because if you can remember, he took away this girl from us a while ago, and she still is indeed locked up, which is why we had to break in and also just destroy the entire place. I legit love this game, I'm not gonna lie. Although they could have made her a bit prettier, but beggars can't be choosers. The women in Montana are all in cults. Oh yeah, and we also got a trophy after saving her and ending the John storyline. Next, we headed over to the right into Faith's territory. Her whole thing, by the way, is like hypnosis, and these flowers make you trip balls, basically. Overall, it's very annoying because you can just get knocked out by them and stolen, but she is kind of hot, so it's okay. And the next trophy I got here was from doing a puzzle with this contaminated water at the water treatment plant. I had to use my last 3 brain cells for this, by the way, which is why they gave me a trophy after I did it. Much later in her territory, I was literally just minding my own business, and sure, I had taken over a good portion of her area, but the lady just showed up and took me on a damn ride. This is exactly the type of shit that I imagine would happen if I ever took edibles and got a bad trip. Just nuclear disasters. I did get a trophy after all of the free brain movies got done though. And I actually got another trophy like 10 minutes after once I completed this side quest called Saving Peaches the Cougar. No, not Grandma, an actual cougar who was domesticated and is now one of our companions in the game. How nice. I also got 25 close combat kills later on when doing more activities in the game, getting my XP up, and I finally tipped past the 3rd landmark on the progress bar after a few more outposts, which again led this woman to just jump on into my brain. I seriously don't know how she keeps doing this, but the federal agent was here also, and I think he might be getting mixed signals. This was a very sus boat ride. Hell, we even woke up next to each other after the trip was over. What the hell is going on right now? Yeah, so she pretty much just kept doing that and not actually battling us until the very end of her character arc, where the goal is to now confront her. I'm afraid of women though, so it was a hard challenge to do this. But we ended up getting a full-blown boss fight against Faith, and there was even a little itty-bitty arena for us to fight her in. And I gotta give it to Faith. That girl can take it. Like, she just would not die. Until she did, or I guess until she wanted to go for a swim? Question mark?
We don't know what the hell is going on right now.
Anyways, we then escaped the bad trip finally, and it's my job to now destroy the production of Bliss entirely. Bliss is the drug, by the way, if you're dumb. from. And I got a trophy here for crafting a lot of items. A true Far Cry classic. Oh yeah, I also blew the whole place up and there was even fireworks. It was crazy. You should have been there. After though, Joseph had to be a party pooper and ruin it by giving us a monologue with some very good lighting choices, might I add. Bro was looking like Joji in 2020.
That's what I'm saying.
After that, I got the Faith storyline trophy, by the way. So now it's time to move over to the final area before the conclusion of the game at Joseph's compound, Jacob's territory. His whole thing is all about hypnosis with like songs and crap. So honestly, it's a lot like what we just went through with Faith, but instead of drugs, it's just the whimsical enjoyment of song and dance. During the first quest line I got here while I was scoping out the enemies below, I ended up dropping one from over 150 meters with a headshot using this sniper thing I had and got a trophy. A bit later on, after I reached the first landmark in Jacob's progress bar, I was just chilling in the road and an arrow came out of heaven right into my leg. This then put me under and we get to go experience Jacob's wrath, just like how he did with the other previous two. This time, however, Jacob has a much more different approach. Instead of real life torture, he just does it all in the mind. And I did like a little target course that had a time limit on it. This is also the same course we will be doing for the entirety of Jacob's questline. Once completed this first time, you wake up and see that everyone is dead except you. Hard to believe, right? Yeah, these people thought so also. And after we got saved by them, the trophy popped after all that crap. I then walked over to these nice people's leader and talked to him, which was also the 50th survivor I've talked to in the game, and got another trophy just for that. I didn't receive any more trophies for quite some time though, because the story is very dry in terms of trophies, but there was a main story mission that had us go into a cabin and just place bombs all over it and then run away watching it explode. Not only was that a great time for everyone involved, but it also gave us a trophy for blowing up in each region in the game. I did end up finally taking over Jacob's reign finally, and I actually did these last few missions all with one of my friends on PlayStation, just to get ready for those online trophy stage after this. But Jacob's final part had a lot of weird boss fight things going on. Most of it was all fake though, and not in reality. However, once we did reach the real world again and sobered up, the job is to now take him down. And I swear to God, this man was invincible because I knocked him with my sniper numerous times and he just kept on getting up. Anyways, we got him eventually and then watched as he gave us his final words before dying. Oh, and I got a trophy for finishing 3 quests with another player. But again, this wasn't the end of Jacob's questline quite yet, because we still had to go to his bunker and blow it all up like with the previous people. But after that and another Joseph Seed speech, the trophy did pop finally. And now it's time to go do the final mission of the game with Joseph Seed himself. Fun fact, you actually have to do 0 work for the endings of this game. You literally just fast travel there and then the last few cutscenes play. You were also posed with an option to pretty much just leave Joseph alone or to not and cause more conflict. At first I chose to just leave because the dude is crazy and I kind of like him, so we just drove away, no worries. That is until the song started playing on the radio from Jacob's hypnosis, and it's assumed that the main character killed everyone. But that's not the real ending. Oh no, the real ending just has everyone get nuked, so it's a similar outcome to be honest. And there is the final story trophy for Far Cry 5. So the next stage on the trophy guide is to actually just clean up miscellaneous things, but I chose to do the online play next to switch up the vibes. And huge shout out to this homie right here for knowing the best maps and having them for the online trophies, because if you don't boost these, it can be extremely tedious to get. The first online trophy I did get, however, was from getting 100 kills on enemy players, and I did it all with a shovel, so how about that? Me and the homie then kept on playing that map a few more times until reaching 10 matches won within featured maps inside of arcade multiplayer. After that, we also did 10 matches inside of solo or co-op featured maps, which are different from the previous thing because the game says so. But hey, I did get a trophy. Next online trophy is then gotten from just playing 5 of the arcade hero maps. These are, I think, solely community made, and you can literally just die and restart 5 times on the same one to get the trophy. So yeah, that was easy. However, the final online trophy, which is gotten from reaching XP level 20, wasn't quite so easy, but honestly it's not bad at all. I just played this one like old school eliminate enemies level over and over, and it gave a load of XP every time, so eventually I got to level 20 and was all good. Now it's the final stage for the platinum, and I have to go back and just get every single other trophy inside of the solo campaign. And there's actually quite a few trophies left, so the day isn't quite over yet, ladies and gentlemen. First, I did the last side quest with Nick and his wife from the beginning of the game because she has been undergoing child labor the entire time I've been blowing up the world. But her side quest had us just drive to the midwife's house while chaos occurs all around. This baby might be Jesus. Who knows? And there's the trophy pop after the quest conclusion. I then did another character-specific side quest with some crazy science hillbilly. You literally have 3 missions for this guy, and it's all just to power up and help him build a machine to like teleport him or something. And It works, so I can't even hate on the brother. There's the trophy. My next trophy in the list was then the one gotten from completing every single hunting and fishing challenge in the game. And the hunting part is actually way harder than the fish part because the areas where animals show up on the map are almost never guaranteed. And sometimes you have to run around for 10 to 20 minutes before one spawns in. Before getting all of them done though, I went on a spending splurge and bought 3 cars total in the game for a trophy that I didn't know existed. Anyways, about 20 minutes after that, I did finish all of the fishing challenges and got that trophy. I then had to do 3 plunder quests next, which are another type of side quests where the only thing you really do is find a bunch of money hidden away. So W, I guess I can't complain. Next, I had to complete a Clutch Nixon event in every area of the game, but it's really just the 3 major territories. These are literally just cracked out American Nightmare feel where you race cars, planes, and boats through fire rings and have American music playing the whole time. Overall, it probably raised my testosterone levels and I feel more like a man, I can't lie. I then got 2 fast trophies next. First for spending over 50 grand inside of the garage, and another for buying at least half the skill points in the game total. I then had to dive underwater to the bottom of this lake to find the very last collectible type I have yet to get. And I honestly can't remember what it's really called, but it was a barrel. I also then farmed vehicle explosions with Herc, who is my favorite character in Far Cry 5. The man just screams American if you know what I mean. But you can do this by just spawning in vehicles from the garage and then having him blow it up right away. So next up, I was then going for the record fish weight on every fish basically, since each territory of the game has like their own high score and stuff. Basically, you gotta beat all of these weights on screen right now, which is actually not hard at all if you fish in the hard locations on the map. Before getting them all though, I sold a ton of fish and got a trophy from that. And then a half hour later, I got the last weight record, which after fast traveling back to a territory's capital, the trophy pops. I then did an easy trophy from spending over $1,000 in the clothing store. I did this all, by the way, on a cursed dog mask. I now understand why enemies shoot on sight. I would probably do the same. I then farmed another vehicle destruction trophy, but this time it was on planes being destroyed by other aerial vehicles. And you can of course just keep spawning them in, so it's not hard whatsoever. The next trophy I went after, however, was insanely more difficult. It's gotten from running over 15 enemies with vehicles. Sounds simple, right? Well, the enemies in this game are all built like Lizzo, because even if you hit one, they almost always will not die and just ragdoll, then stand up like nothing happened. I guess prayer might be the answer after all. But I did end up at this one cult outpost and found a tractor that had a damn meat grinder on the front of it, which instant kills enemies. So not only did I get the tractor kill trophy with this method, I also got the vehicle kill trophy in addition. God damn, I wish I knew that was a thing an hour ago. Oh, and after that I had yet again another useless vehicle destruction trophy, but this time it was from blowing up 4 vehicles at once with an aerial bomb. And that's literally impossible if you don't spawn in vehicles to do it on, so thank God you can. Sadly, we have reached the Far Cry Classic trophy, which has you distract 15 enemies with rocks. This is in like literally every single Far Cry trophy list, and it's always complete ass. This game being no exception, and this took me 40 minutes to do. I definitely tricked like 50 enemies, but whatever, I did get the trophy. I then got another for gliding 5,000 meters with a wingsuit, and punching the shit out of a bull and a bison. Drugs are insane, let me tell you. So the final trophy I needed to get before the platinum is called Explosive Surprise. And if it's not called that, I'm sorry. But it's gotten from sabotaging vehicles and then blowing up 5 enemies with it. The best place to do this is at Joseph's compound after the story, because this one dude is always there next to a truck. So you just gotta sneak in, do the sabotage, and wait for it to blow up, and the trophy is all yours. And there's the platinum pop right after. So that was the Far Cry 5 platinum trophy experience. Honestly, I love this game. It's one of the few that I didn't despise the entire time playing it, and both the story and graphics were amazing. My only complaint is that it's so short. I platinumed the game within a playtime of 14 hours according to PlayStation. I do think that's a little wrong though, because it was more around 18, but still, that's insanely short. So yeah, putting it at a rating out of 10, I'm gonna give Far Cry 5 a solid 9. God damn, that was a good game.